All right, number 8, we want to factor completely. We have 12q raised to the 11/6 power minus 3q raised to the 5/6 power. Both of these terms are divisible by 3, so I can factor out a 3. And then both of them have a q, and we're going to factor out the smaller of them. So the smaller one is the most I can take out of any one. I can take 11 from here, but I can't take 11 from here. But I can take 5 and 5 to be even. So we're going to also factor out a q and 5/6. Q5/6. All right. So when you factor numbers, you just divide like you normally do. So what will be left? 12 divided by 3 will leave us with 4. And then if we had 11 and we subtract 5 from there because we took 5 out, that will leave me with q. 11 minus 5 is 6 over 6, which is end up 1. We'll subtract. We'll do that later. We factored out pretty much the whole thing here. We factored out 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. We took 5/6, so 5/6 minus 5/6 is 0. So this last term is just left with a 1. And then 6 divided by 6 is 1, so we can say 3q to the 5/6 power times the quantity 4q minus 1. So this would be factored completely. Uh-oh. 5/6. Arrow twice over. And then this would be 4q minus 1. This one we want to factor completely, positive exponents. Okay. We have p times the quantity 4p plus 5 raised to the negative 3/4 power, and then plus the quantity 4p plus 5 raised to the 1/4 power. Now, the thing that they have in common is this 4p plus 5 part. And similar to what we did here, we're going to factor out the smaller value. Now, the negative 3/4 is the smaller value, so that's what we're going to factor out. So, we're going to factor out 4p plus 5 to the negative 3/4 power. When you do this, you got to remember you're subtracting this from the exponents. So think of it like this: the negative 3/4, I'm dividing it out. I'm subtracting a negative 3/4. Minus a negative becomes plus a positive, so it ends up being 0. And that property is anything to the 0 power is 1. So I pretty much factor out this whole term, and that leaves me with p, okay, because that whole part comes out. Now with this one, we just got to figure out the exponent. Okay, so I had a 1/4 as my exponent. I'm subtracting a negative because I factored it out. When you divide exponents, you subtract it. So subtracting a negative 3/4. So 1/4 plus 3/4 ends up being 1. Okay. So we will have left is 4p plus 5, and it'll be to the first power, which is just this, okay? And then we can combine like terms. P plus P gives us 5P plus 5. So I have this 4P plus 5. So negative 3/4 power, and then inside parentheses we have a 5P plus 5. Now, we could also factor a 5 out of this total, and that would give us our final answer, a 5 out front. And I can just write it as P plus 1. You divide both of those by 5, and then this 4P plus 5 to the negative 3/4. Now, do they want us to write it with positive exponents only? Yes. So this negative 3/4, I'm just going to move it down to the bottom. So our final answer, 5P plus 1, it's going to be over 4P plus 5 raised to the positive 3/4.